because there was one issue that arose this week in the college football universe. We haven't gotten a chance to talk about it yet, and it utterly fascinates me. So I'm going to go with the poll that Y'all Trippin' put up on the Auburn Live message board this week.
Y'all Trippin'.
Y'all Trippin'. Great handle. Could you beat Hugh Freeze at golf? His scores are pretty well known. I believe I saw where he's usually low to mid 80s. How regularly could you beat him? Can we get into the Hugh Freeze golf thing? The Hugh Freeze golf thing is amazing to me because it is a perfect June college football story. And it is utterly ridiculous and sublime, and it has all of the things. So AL.com did a story this week. Matt Stahl wrote it. And it happened to coincide with people decommitting from Auburn's high school recruiting class, not having very many commitments in it. They've gotten some more sense. But it used an app that people use to determine their golf handicaps.
Yeah.
To determine how many SEC coaches were playing golf and how many rounds they were playing. And Hugh Freeze led the way with 11 rounds in June, and then posted another score. So it went up to 12 the next day. And the Auburn fan base just went berserk.
Yeah, that's the app that everybody plugs in their scores on the courses they play, and then the app has an algorithm that tells you what your handicap is, and they're all public. And there's
correct.
So here's the thing: I understand when presidents catch flack for playing too much golf. Right. It really doesn't matter which president it is. Everybody
seems to be bipartisan. Yeah, I've seen Democrats and Republicans rip for playing golf.
I do think that there is something to the notion that there are people on welfare, and the leader of the country is enjoying himself too much. If you sign up to be the president, I understand why that would bother.
It should be a slog. It should be miserable.
The entire time. Help people. I understand that everybody, including the president, probably deserves a day or two off. But when you sign up to be the president, I think that there's a responsibility there that's an inherently different than being a college football coach.
Well, an SEC football coach
is the president
a lot more than the president. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing. What do you think is an appropriate round number for a coach in June?
The appropriate number that people know about is 0. You can play as much as you want. Just don't plug it into the app.
Well, I mean, I don't even have a problem with him playing 13 rounds of golf in the month of June.
I don't either. You can recruit on the golf course. Here's my thing about it. Look, I went to Florida in the Steve Spurrier era. Steve Spurrier played a lot of golf in the offseason. But he won, so nobody cared.
That's the thing.
If Hugh Freeze goes 9-3, it doesn't matter how much golf he played this June.
Yeah. The question that I have, too, is that if you're playing golf, what are you not doing? And there's nothing that you can't do on the golf course that you could be doing unless you're not at a camp or something that your university is hosting, which I would assume is not the case. So, you can make phone calls, you can text on the course, Well, and if this is the way he blows off steam, he's a human being, and also too, didn't he just have a pretty major health scare? If he wants to get out,
he has cancer. He's being treated for prostate cancer. So yes,
let him live a little bit, I don't know. I'm not an Auburn fan, and I'm not desperate to win. So maybe that's just me.
Well, here's my thing with this, because I had to make some phone calls on this the other day because I was curious about what is going on with Auburn recruiting and how's this working, because it actually reminded me of another school last year, and it felt like they're in a fairly similar situation. So as of Monday, when Dexter Carter's son was committed to Auburn, he flips to Florida State where his dad played. That's when everybody went nuts. That's the day that the golf story came out. And, Auburn only had 5 commitments as of that day. It is, I'm checking to see where they're up to now. I think they're up to 7 now, but they had a quarterback named Peyton Falzone flip from Penn State to Auburn yesterday. Yeah, they're up to 7 now. So here's the thing. Auburn is probably not going to have the greatest high school recruiting class for 2026 right now. Like you saw Alabama got a bunch of really good players to commit to them in the last week. You're going to see Michigan get some in a few weeks. Auburn's probably not going to do that right now. And here's why. And this is going to be how things work from now on, I think. They're not sure about Hugh Freeze. The money people aren't sure about Hugh Freeze because he's not won to the level that they want. This was exactly the same case with Florida and Billy Napier last year. Billy Napier was on the hot seat. If you look at Florida's high school recruiting last year, this time, and through the season, even through the first months of the season, it was pretty dismal. Because if you are the people putting the money together, are you going to make competitive offers for people that a coaching staff wants when you don't know that coaching staff will be there? Once it became clear Billy Napier was coming back at Florida, all of a sudden recruiting picked up and they ended up, I think, with the number 10 class in the country. They started flipping people like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That will happen at Auburn if they win. Like if Auburn wins and it's very clear that Hugh Freeze is the guy and he's going to be back, I guarantee they start flipping people like crazy. And that recruiting ranking goes way up.
And this doesn't apply to the modern era, Andy, but like in the past, this would be stupid because it was harder to transfer. Now you don't want to sink money into players that would be maybe more willing to leave if you fire your coach.
Correct, because they were coming to play for that guy. And
right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because if they're actually coming for money, they're not coming to play for him. And then, I mean, you can put yourself in a pretzel thinking about whether or not you should. Like, I think that the goal should always be to get as many people who are really good at football in line to play for you. And whatever happens, you deal with as it happens. But like my theory is always sign as many or get as many commitments as you possibly can from players to come play. And then if something bad happens, then try to mitigate that at that point. But like taking the slow route, though probably more effective now with money involved than it ever was before, is just kind of an interesting thought process to me. I get it.
If I were Auburn, I'd do exactly what Florida did last year. Like if Auburn starts winning games and it looks like they're having a good year, that's when you say, all right, who do we want? Who do we really want? And you put together some very attractive offers.
Also, Hugh is very in tune with the notion that if they don't win, he's fired this year or could be fired. So like if he thinks his time is best spent playing golf in June, just understand that like as he's swinging his driver, there's nobody more keenly aware of the expectations of what needs to happen, this season. And this is what he thinks is the best use of his time. Also,
well, and I mean, I think that's the frustration with them is that they're worried he's checked out and that he's just, resigned himself to this being that way. But I don't think that's the case because I look at the roster and they can be very good, not just okay. They can be really, really good.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can kill yourself right now trying to get players to come and commit to you. But the fact of the matter is, smart players are going to stay away until they know what the situation is going to be next year.
Yeah.
And that will not reveal itself until this season.
I think Auburn is going to be good enough for him to keep his job this year. I do. I really do, Andy.
I agree. I think Auburn can be a 9-win team, potential fringe playoff team. Like 8-4 seems like almost a disappointment, but 8-4 is probably good enough.
Yeah. It's going to be a hell of a banger to watch in Columbus, Ohio on August 29th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got Baylor on the schedule right out of the gate on the road in Waco.
On Friday night, exactly. Well, you may be in Columbus. I'm probably going to be in a high school football field and joining you that morning.
No. You do have to be at the high school game.
Yes. I have to miss as few of those as humanly possible.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, I talked to somebody who listens to our show last week, and he said that he really respects how you prioritize your family during football season and that it makes you more relatable and likable. I just thought I'd let you know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and who knows if the kid keeps going the way he is, the job and the family may coincide. So we'll see how that goes.
I
But
hope that goes that way for you.
but
I hope
it's going to be very interesting to see what Auburn does, because I think the roster is so good that, and it also actually makes the decision easy if they don't win, because the roster is really good. So that will tell you all you need to know if you wind up going 5-7 or 6-6.
The fact that you could sit here on June 27th and say the roster is above average or really good, I think is an illustration that he's done a good job so far. Now that good job has to matriculate into results.
Yeah. That's really all it is. And so he can play all the golf he wants. Again, I don't know that I'd be posting scores. Posting rounds. You don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he's aware of what people are saying, if I'm being
honest.
Well,
the thing is, if you're in Auburn, like or in any SEC town, like the small SEC, Auburn, Gainesville, Tuscaloosa, Oxford, Starkville, towns like that, everybody knows everything. Everybody knows what everybody's doing.
Yeah. I'm not going to get fired up about it.
I just think it has been highly amusing to me all week to watch. And like, if you go to AL, like you type in AL.com, Hugh Freeze golf, there's the original story. There's multiple columns. There's so many photos of Hugh Freeze playing golf.
Did you answer the question though? Could you beat him? I don't know. Do you golf ever?
There's no shot I could beat him. I'm terrible.
Yeah, I'm awful.
Yeah, if he shoots in the mid 80s, he's destroying me.
When I go play 18 holes, which is becoming more frequent lately, my goal is to have 5 really good shots through the entire round.
I think that's a good way to do it. Like, because listen, you can keep score, but if you don't play very often, you're just going to be mad and disappointed.
I mean, there are times where I won't even finish the hole. Like, I'll be so far off, or I'll lose the ball or whatever. I'll just drive the cart to the green and meet my friends who are really good, and then we'll go to the next hole. Like, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Golf requires reps. Like, if you're not getting the reps in, you should just count your great shots as the victories.
I've thought about getting lessons though, because it seems like when you do get a good shot, it feels really good.
Of course it does. It makes you come back.
All I would ever want is to shoot 90.